This is Rafique Louison, and you are tuned in to Nothing But That Sports Talk.
She's another one of those spark plugs for Sandy Brondello along with Rebecca Gardner. Here's Stewie, gets into the paint, kicks it out to Mieseman, and she connects. Mieseman.
When a rookie makes you look like a genius, I'm not sure anybody could have predicted just how amazing she would be in her rookie.
There is a big-time liveliness on the offensive end with this New York Liberty squad as Stewie gets it to roll in.
Oh yeah, what a way to end the season for the New York Liberty. And welcome to this episode of Nothing But That Sports Talk. Rafique Louison alongside Ryan Walker. And yeah, obviously it's a good way to end what was kind of an average finish for New York Liberty. They started off 9-0 and they've kind of been like little average or below average at worst. I mean, they've had a lot of injuries with all their key stars, so they didn't really get to live up to expectations. They're going to be a fifth seed going up against the Phoenix Mercury in the upcoming WNBA Playoffs, but at the very least remain hopeful that they're going to actually defend their championship. And you got a chance to witness it firsthand when they close out the season against the Washington Mystics at home. I mean, they had one more regular season game to play against Chicago Sky, but at the very least, they ended their home season on a strong note.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I think it was good to see them last night. It's been an interesting season. You know, anytime in sports, not because it's just our New York Liberty too. There's another point I want to bring up a little later too, but as well too. But before we even go into the Liberty thing, of course, make sure my guy Rafique, Nothing But the Sports Talk. You know, hold on, pardon me. We're always here. Make sure we set up a little better. There we go. My phone clicked with the message, so it moved. So yes, make sure you know we're here on Nothing But That Sports Talk. That's right. Bingo. There we go. So of course, with Nothing But the Sports Talk, but make sure you're locking into. Go on YouTube, subscribe, Wavy's World. We're gonna do that too, Rafique. You're gonna be on there too, so don't worry about it. It's gonna be a whole other thing. But with the New York Liberty, I always tell you this in sports, when you win a championship, it's hard to repeat. It's hard to three-peat. That's why it doesn't happen as much in sports. When it does happen, it's something to be celebrated. Or if you win a multiple amount in a over a period of time. But here goes the reality of it. Don't want to sound facetious. One, they won the championship. They finally broke that barrier. Sometimes you do have championship hangover. They still play very solid this season. They had a couple blips here and there, and we're talking about a team with the second or third best record in the WNBA, right?
Fifth, actually, they're the fifth seed.
They have the fifth best record in the WNBA at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I mean, who's ahead of them? Of course, Minnesota. Who's that?
Las Vegas Aces, the Atlanta Dream, and the Phoenix Mercury. And we're going to get to those teams in a minute, but back to the Liberty.
But that is not by a lot of games. It's by a few games, I'm guessing, presuming, because they're record-wise, they're all close in the pack, but numerically fifth. But when you win a championship, it's hard to come back the next year and have that same hunger and drive. And even if you have hunger and drive, there's no way. The first time you're looking for a job in life, you're always going to have more passion compared to the second time. Once you've worked a little while, you just kind of know how to get to a job. The only time your hunger is more for looking for a job than the first time is if you lose a job unexpectedly and you don't have any income coming in, so now you go back at it again. But they have a little bit of that. I don't want to keep leaning towards it, and I hope that doesn't. And to me, Nigel Laney is a big loss, and I talked about that earlier in the year. Regardless of how she's a loss, who was right, wrong, I don't even care anymore. The fact that she's not there, and that was one of my favorite players too, is a key loss because she could have been a starter and she could have been a bench player. She's so intricate to what they do, and there's one or two other players on the team that could do it, but she does things that other players on the team naturally can't do, and that brings a dynamic that's different. but she's not there. Hopefully, in the Lord's time, we'll be able to get her back next year. But that's a whole different other conversation. But that, and they were just trying to get to the postseason, and they had a few injuries here and there. Stewie was out for a little slight time, and Sabrina just came back from 5 games. That's key as well too. Jones had a little bit of a stint on the injury, you know what I'm saying? And then they had 1 or 2 different pieces. Like you lose Vandersloot, you know what I'm saying? But you had different guards and different pieces that came in to kind of fill that. So it takes time to gel. I think they'll be fine in the postseason. They got to buckle down a little bit more. Sandra has to make sure that she gets them completely on the right page. I know this is the time they're waiting for, because now it's the time to defend your championship and try to get there. It would have been nice if they would have got a better numerical seeding for what they're doing for some form of home court. But they're a team that, with the championship core that was last year, I'm pretty sure they're fine on the home or the road. It's just about, playing their game. They play their quality game. If the Liberty play their style of basketball, and that's no disrespect to Atlanta, because I think Atlanta's damn good and is one other team. If the Liberty play at their top of their level, the only team that I think that should compete with them is Minnesota. That's my personal opinion. If they're playing at their top of their level. Not saying the other teams are not good as well, too. We talked about Phoenix. We talked about Atlanta. I respect Atlanta a lot. They're very scary. And we know that from last year, and they're ready to go at it again. But I think if they're playing at the top of the game, they should be fine. But it's going to be an interesting hurdle, especially with the seeding they got, to return back to the finals. And Minnesota is definitely hungry. Not only do they want to beat everybody, but they would love to see us again and try to. Their whole thing this year is like redemption tour. Against that, they're not letting go of the finals, and I get it. So that they're looking forward to that. I think Atlanta's very admirable as well too. So there will be teams that are in Las Vegas. You've seen they got back at it, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be a little upset too with how they're playing. And they have debatably the best player in basketball, who's now playing at a high level again. So they'll be back at it, and in their eyes, they went back to back, right? That was back to back championships they got, right?
They won back to back.
They won back to back, and they beat us the second time around. We found a way to beat them in the semifinals last year. I'm pretty sure that's also lingering in their mind on top of the way they're playing now. And they're ready to get back at it. You see Angel playing at such a high level, and the team, and they're well coached. So they also feel like in their eyes that they want to get a title back from what we got, and they know that, they also have to pay attention to if they ever get a matchup against Minnesota, because that's a different type of beast as well there too. But nevertheless, I think they'll be fine. It's going to be a different hurdle to win back to back, and I just pray that they're buckled up and ready. So same thing with me and you. My heart and mind is in their shadows to win it. But if everything was working completely right with them, like Laney and everything, I would say definitely we're going to win back to back again. But there's a lot of hurdles there. So if they do win it again, believe it or not, this time is going to be more difficult than the first time. The first time, 2 years ago, the Liberty knew they were good. They got to the finals. It was just shoring up the bench and other things in order to be able to beat either the Aces or a Minnesota. And Minnesota went back. I know they're no championship caliber now, but everybody's also gunning for them. And with 1 or 2 of the pieces different on the team and a couple things different with the seeding, this time is going to be a little bit more difficult than what they did last year.
Yeah, most definitely, especially to go against the Phoenix Mercury. And obviously, I know we're a defending champ, so we can't forget the losses in 2016 and 21 to the Mercury. This is a good chance for Liberty to actually redeem themselves from those losses. And I know they don't have Diana Taurasi no more because she's retired. Brittany Grier's in Atlanta. Look at how she helped develop the Atlanta Dream. Skylar Diggins mixed in Seattle. They barely made the playoffs after barely defeating the Golden State Valkyries, who, funny enough, is also a playoff team. So this is a lot. So it's a lot of roster turnover from the last time the Liberty and Mercury had a playoff game. That was back with Sabrina Nescu. It's in the beginning of her career. here, and she didn't really have this type of core crew that she has right now. I know it's a 4 or 5 seed match with Liberty out of the lower seed, but you know what? With the new playoff format, with the 1-1-1, the Liberty guaranteed a game 2 at the Barclays Center. Unlike a year ago, they would have had to play both games in Phoenix if the seeding was like this. This is something that you have to think about for a defending chance. But I think the Liberty are up for the challenge. We only have to win one game in Phoenix at minimum just to get another shot in Minnesota. But then again, Minnesota, they have their hands full. They're going to have either the Golden State Valkyries or the Seattle Storm, depending on how things finish out the final 2 days of the season. So this is something. So there's a lot of narrations. It can go either way.
Yeah, I think that'd be fine though. Even if the format was the format from last year. No disrespect to Phoenix, because they are good, but I think any format we would have been fine. Glad the format is not that this year, so at least they do have the one home game, and they'll be fine. That'll get them battle and tested and focused. If they're gonna prove to all of us and do it for us for New York again, and so we can have a parade and celebrate them. When they play Phoenix in the first round, you come out focused and you have your championship savvy and get back together, everybody healthy. You win that game in Phoenix and you come home to Brooklyn and you got a home game at the Barclays. You take care of that. There's nothing to talk about. So they have the championship savvy, the talent on the roster that if they get stubborn and put their head down with it, they should be able to get past that series and put themselves in a position, whether it be Minnesota or, like you said, Seattle or Golden State. And no disrespect to Seattle or the Golden State, the Valkyries. I think Minnesota would have to play their absolute worst in order not to advance to the next round.
Yeah, you got an interesting point. Seattle showed that they could get 2 games against the Minnesota Lynx, but the Golden State Valkyries is another story. And you know what? I gotta get to the Golden State Valkyries because they've exceeded expectations for a first-year WNBA team. The first expansion team to make the postseason, just their first season. Early expansion since the beginning of the WNBA. Chase Center's already rocking enough where you had the Golden State Warriors be relevant to the Stephen Curry's days. Now, the Golden State Valkyries are the one bringing the heat at Chase Center down there in San Francisco. This is something that we never thought we would see.
I don't know. Yeah, you're right. The probability is tough. I never doubt. Listen, they gave them a very good expansion draft on top of the acquisitions that they acquired. So this is not. You're right, but this is not that first. This is not that average expansion team. They came in with a damn good ass team. Part of my French. So they got there and they've earned it, and God bless them. It's good for them. And that, there's, of course, the city and the state, you got 2 teams on a professional level doing so well. And let's see, like you said, once it's postseason, right? Let's see. That's good for the WNBA to have something like that with a team. And I think they've kind of learned in the past, as I said, they had the free agent and they had the right, draft picks and things worked away. A lot of times you let these expansion teams in all sports and the WNBA, and you don't give them enough bullets for the war, so they end up being so mediocre or below mediocre, so that by the time they actually get good, it's years on in, or they never get good, and then they end up not being a franchise no more. And that's not what they wanted to happen this time with Golden State, especially in the market where people are going to put their butts in the seats. So I think they said it's just prudent to give an expansion team at least a little bit of a decent chance. And, that got accomplished there, and God bless them. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, God bless them. The season today, they would face Las Vegas Aces. And I'm picking the Aces to win, but it's going to take 3 games because Golden State Valkyries are going to come out swinging. Let's not forget the same coach of the Golden State Valkyries. She was part of the Aces coach staff during championship wins. And you had Kate Martin, who can shoot. Kyla Thornton, even though, what Kyla Thornton can bring to a team. We saw what she did with the New York Liberty. And then, of course, they have Tiffany Hayes. That Golden State Valkyries team, they my sleepers, in my opinion. Matter of fact, I'm not even sleeping, I'm snoring. Because who would have thought we would talk about the Golden State having hosted a WNBA playoff game, even if it's not Chase Center this year?
Yeah, sleeping, snoring, you ain't lying. They put everybody in a coma, and they're gonna have to wake up because this team, they're not just coming to the party to dance one time. They want to come to the party and probably dance all night. So
Yeah,
we'll
they
see.
want to make sure that they don't fold like earlier expansion teams. And we already went over the conversations about the later expansion teams going to come. I mean, next year you got the Portland Fire and they're returning. You got the Toronto Tempo, the team, an area that you know very well. That's literally your beginning, where Wavy Walker's story began. After that, you got Detroit, Cleveland, and Philadelphia. Those past next 5 years, and yeah, if this is an indication of what could happen to later expansion teams, the growth of the WNBA is going to be very interesting.
100%. And you know what? The playoffs right around the corner, and this is going to be a great. Not like again, WNBA playoffs. I know Liberty fans in New York will be ready because we're trying to see that Liberty hopefully make a second run at that WNBA championship.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty special.
That's what we all hoping for. Now, getting to the playoff predictions. Yeah, if the season ended today, Lynx versus Seattle Storm. Who you have?
As much as I love Diggins and she's a dog, Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm taking Minnesota. It's going to take 3 games though. Seattle's not going to go down without a fight.
I could see that too. I really like what I seen. I know you're right. You're right. Minnesota, Seattle did beat them twice, but I just think in the postseason with that different kind of temperament, I could see them getting a sweep. But listen, 3 games, but I still have Minnesota winning regardless. Whatever the numerical amount may be.
Yeah. Aces versus Valkyries. I already said it. I got Aces winning in 3. Imagine the engagement the WNBA is going to get when the Valkyries win a playoff game before being sent home. I mean, no, the Aces been hot, but they have been right in on the road against the Vegas before. I know it's not the Chase Center they're playing at, but they have been right before. I'm not sleep again. I'm snoring when it comes to Las Vegas Aces and in the Golden State Valkyries matchup. I'm snoring literally.
Well, since you're snoring, I'll tell you the coma right now. The Aces are going to sweep them. And no disrespect to the Valkyrie, but the Aces are on a quiet mission, and they're hot at the right time. They're battle-tested for that postseason. No disrespect to Golden State. Regular season and postseason are 2 different things. So I would love to see them win a game, but I think the Aces are going to come out and send a message. And I think that they'll give them a little bit of reality check. I'll go sweep there, but I still have Aces winning series regardless, 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Atlanta Dream, Indiana Fever. I'm going with the Atlanta Dream in 2. If Caitlin Clark was not out for the season, I probably would have picked the Fever to win a game before being sent home. But the way the Atlanta Dream has come together and exceeded my expectations of playoff team, they have the front court. I mean, Aaliyah Boston is not going to be enough to take out this Atlanta Dream team. This is the year they're going to get out the first round, put the nail in the coffin.
Yeah,
this is the year.
Indiana's just too decimated with injuries, and they haven't had enough time to gel the proper way with where they could go. No Clark, Dream playing superb basketball. Sweep.
Yeah. Liberty versus Mercury. I'm going to take my gamble. I'm going with the Liberty in 3. I just think Phoenix is just too good to go home in just 3 games.
Where's game 3 going to be at, if so?
It's going to be at Footprint Center in Phoenix.
Fuck. Pardon my French. No numerical round, but the Liberty win. That's what I want to see. So,
yeah,
Liberty, they better be careful, though.
Yeah, the Liberty will go definitely take this one. Now we get to the semifinals where potentially you would have the Aces going up against the Dream and the Liberty going against the Lynx. I got the Liberty winning against the Lynx, but it's going to take 5 games this time.
If the Liberty play to their potential in their game, we also win in 5. They better be careful. Minnesota's playing with a lot of bravado, and they will be taking that matchup very personal. We'll have to clear up some of the miscues last year that we did that we were still fortunate to win this year, if so. But I will say this. If Liberty and Minnesota play in the second round, for my mortgage and for my brain, Minnesota's supposed to win that series. They played better than we have all year and been a better team, whether we, like it or not. But for the home ground, the home team, I'm thinking and pray they'll wake up Liberty in 5.
Yeah, and this is a good chance to actually for Liberty to show what could be. Those 3 losses, they were literally short-handed during those 3 losses before Liberty finally got a win against them in their last match of the regular season. So there's that.
Correct.
Oh, yeah, and then there's the Aces versus the Atlanta Dream. I'm sorry, Atlanta. Part of me is, I'm sorry, Atlanta. I got the Aces winning in 3. No disrespect. You're just not, you're improved, but you're not racing for a championship caliber team, Las Vegas Aces. You're just not ready for that.
I won't say that. I have the Aces winning, but I won't say 3. I'll say 4 games.
Okay, that's fair. 4 games. Okay, that's fair. Now we get to the WNBA Finals. It'll be the first ever WNBA Finals to go best of 7, by the way. Liberty and Aces, 2-4 seed matchup. We're going to run it back again with the Aces versus Liberty.
As much as I respect those Aces, but if we do get there like that, Liberty win the whole thing and we go back to back.
Yeah, we do, but it's going to take 6 games though, at least.
Yeah.
No more than 6 games, because the Aces they literally showed you why we should not have counted them out. And
what is it? The final WNBA Finals first person to win 3 games?
It's a best of 7. You didn't hear? It's a best of 7 in the WNBA Finals this year.
So it's like the NBA, so you have to win 4 games.
Yes, they are.
Oh no, if that happens, it's 7 games, Liberty win. 6 games, you're crazy. Aces is another one that they ready to their blood is boiling from last year. Boy, woo, they ready for it. Boy, if the Liberty do win this back-to-back title, boy, they're gonna definitely earn it, because there's a lot of teams that have our target on their back, or the other way around, pardon me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty much the rest of the way. Now, speaking of your podcast, I see that not too long ago, your friend H2O, Haron, he got to be on the Fan versus Hater debate show, that's broadcasted, that debated with a lady named Maria Rose in an episode that focused strictly on Angel Reese. Not too long ago. Yeah. So let's just take a minute to support our guy, Haron H2O, as he really went at it against this young lady in the Fan versus Haters show, House of Highlights. There's going to be a lot of back and forth. So let's just take a moment to listen to this.
Angel Reese's ceiling is a top 10 all-time WNBA player.
I don't think she'll get there. I think that if she could put the work in that she hasn't been shown that she's been doing.
How has she not been shown that she's been putting in work? Are you in the gym with her?
No, I'm not. But even on her
Are you her coach?
I'm not her coach.
So you're judging based on her Instagram?
I am definitely judging based off her Instagram.
If you were following her and you were paying attention, you would know that she was working in the offseason on those aspects of her game that people criticize. 1 shot.
1,000,000%. But again, I see her more at Liberty games than, like, I went to the Liberty playoffs and things. She's there. Like, why are you there? Like, you lost. I feel like she just wants the attention of being.
You saw her at one Liberty game, and now all of a sudden she's not practicing.
I've seen her at Liberty games.
And I do want to know, do you know how hard it is to be a WNBA player and sustain a spot on a WNBA roster? They invite 20 people to training camp, and only 12 people get a spot. They are fighting for their spot with grown women who are doing this as their job. So to be on a WNBA roster in general is very difficult. She's a professional basketball player. If you think because you saw her at one Liberty game she is not in the gym working, that doesn't even make any sense.
That's not the point. I didn't say that. I just said that.
That's actually what you said when you first
I see her out more, right, and in the public eye for nothing that has to do with basketball, right? So at the end of the day, I feel like she needs to be showing that she's in the gym a lot more.
But just because you feel like she needs to be showing you she needs to be in the gym a lot more does not mean she's not in the gym. She's a professional basketball player. I can assure you.
I would love to see her.
You're not going to get surveillance of Angel Reese.
Okay, that was when the little debate that H2O had with Maria Rose. A shout out to her. She did some good stuff, debating whether or not Angel Reese is like literally in the top 10 or not going to do it to as a top 10 player. What do you think about this here debate they had a few months back?
Listen, first of all, big shout out to Maria Rose. So, I got a lot of love and respect for what she does. She hoops, she know the game, she's been a part of it. So I'm not gonna act like her savvy is not savvy. She's good and savvy with that. Only thing I can say sometimes is that when you have a debate, sometimes you gotta get your point out first and stress and at least let the other person counter with their point. You can't hear certain things and then just want to interject to try to prove that. But it was a debate and it's fine. Maria Rose knows that H2O is very basketball savvy, and he doesn't have to follow Angel Reese 25-8 to still know what's going on per se. He's in tune with it. Remember, my guy played ball, is a trainer, scout, everything, yada. But like I said, she knows that. We don't have to say that. We both know that. This is not a disrespectful shot to anybody on this. But here's my biggest thing that people have that we try to do with Angel Reese. There's other things that people try to give Angel Reese negative stuff for outside of basketball that I don't approve of, and I will always defend her because I don't. Outside of that, I don't care what she does in life as long as she is prepared for what her main occupation is, which is basketball, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is what I will say. Yes, Marie Rose. Yes, the world. Angel Reese can play basketball. She's not a scrub. I'm not one of those people. She's not a scrub. This is a national champion in college. This is a really a big-time resume with the young lady from high school to college, and she's in the WNBA now. She had a very good rookie season. She did average a double-double this year. She proved a lot of pain. A lot of people thought she was, not going to go and be so good. And then sometimes they look at, certain things with her, her fundamentals or skill set or the shot and stuff like that. I don't care about like that as long as it's effective and you make plays, because she makes plays and she rebounds and defends at a high level. But there is some premise and truth to what H2O is saying. My girl, you got more things out. You got your podcast. Listen, he got a point. You at the WNBA finals, and none of those teams that is in the finals or a former team, and you were dressed up and so decorated. And I get it. Listen, we can't tell everybody how to do their lives and everything, but I understand the premise he's saying, where it's like maybe. And it's good to have all those other things, but maybe you probably should focus on your craft a little bit more. And see, when you bring up small tidbits to say, oh, well, how's she not in the craft? How's she not working on the gym? She averaged a double-double. Yeah, she averaged a double-double, but just like he said, that double-double matriculated to double-double losses for them. And they're double-double going home. And they're double-double have no postseason. So, yeah, you're working on your game, and that's making you good, and you're in the gym. But now the next part of your game is to work on your game so that you can now become a player to elevate your team to get to the postseason in the chip. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And for us to even bring up this premise, first of all, Angel Reese is good, and I think she's a good player. But for us to even bring up a premise of her being a top 10 WNBA player in history, that needs to go in the garbage. Not saying that she can't do it, but I think it's just too early, and I think there are too many other great WNBA players. I can think of 10 girls right now by accident from back in the days that I wouldn't even put her in that category. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We Cheryl Swoops, Cynthia Cooper, Lisa Leslie, Tina Thompson, even a Teresa Weatherspoon, Rebecca Lobo, Sylvia Fowles. There are so many other girls. Maya Moore. Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird. There are about 20 to 30 girls that I will think of way before I even put Caitlin. This young lady to even perceive to be that, because she still has a lot of time to even think about getting there. So that's not even a conversation. And this is no shot at her, because I like Angel Reese. Trust me. And she's a good player. And there's no shot at Maria Rose. If you ever send it to her, there's no shot too. And we can listen, I got Wavy's World, so you can come on the podcast and you can talk as well too. I'll give you 5 minutes to get your whole point off before I counteract. But I don't think she should. I don't think at this point in her career, based on what she's done, she should even be echoed in a top 10 WNBA player list ever. Not now. Let's give it another 5-6 years before we go there. And I know she's in the gym, and I know she works, and I know she does her things. But I think H2O's point is probably to say that with the outside things she has to, maybe she could spend a little bit more time. And that's really it. So it's a great debate. I think it's good. But as much as she's working on her game and working on certain things, those things that she did has individually made her look good. Hence the double-double. But now you have to figure out how that matriculates to your whole team.
Exactly. Let's not forget, outside the double-doubles, and all her fancy appearances she has outside of basketball and starting the podcast, what that Angel Reese has ever done. Like, come on now.
Collegiate, she's done something, but nothing in the
she does some things in high school and college, but
yeah.
in WNBA, your first 2 seasons, what did you really do? Caitlin Clark played playoff games before you did.
100%.
I know Caitlin Clark never won national championship, but she broke a lot of records.
100%.
Like, what are we talking about here? Angel Reese, she's slow growing her career, but she's not there yet.
Yeah. And top 10 to even put about is just top 10 is disrespectful to the other plethora of women that I know that are way ahead of her. She hasn't done enough in 2 seasons to even have that conversation. Caitlin and even she hasn't done enough, because if they're not playing her 1 or 2 years, I'm just saying hypothetically, how in the world can we put them in a conversation with Cynthia Cooper, Cheryl Swoops, Tina Thompson, Becky Hammond, Sue Bird, Sylvia Fowles, Lisa Leslie, Shamika Holsqua? And you know what I'm saying? The list goes on and on and on and on. I know 30, 40, 50 girls by accident that and we can't even put them in that scenario. Let them, sometimes we're prisoners of the moment. Let's let these people's career finish. Let's watch the journey and the maturation. And I've seen that, and I get it. That's the new thing over the last 15, 20 years. But sometimes we're too quick to say, yo, that person's the GOAT. Yo, this is the GOAT. Yo, that person's top 10. Yo, let them grow a little bit. Yeah, let them grow. And you know what's so crazy? That GOAT line and now that GOAT line don't mean nothing. Like 20, 30 years ago, somebody say, man, you the GOAT or something, or you got to pretend like that terminology only went around for certain people. You know what I'm saying? Muhammad Ali is a GOAT. Mike Tyson is a GOAT. Babe Ruth was a GOAT. You know, Derek Jeter was a GOAT. Wayne Gretzky is a GOAT. You know what I'm saying? You get where I'm going with this. You know what I'm saying? Like, a kid has 3 good seasons in the NBA. Yo, that kid is the GOAT. No, he's not.
You just started.
No, he's not. LeBron's a GOAT. Stephen Curry's a GOAT. Kevin Durant, is a GOAT. But every time we throw this terminology around with the average player, yo, man, yo, he did focus, yo, he's a GOAT. No, he's not. No, he's not. GOAT is an acronym that means greatest of all time. So you have to be the eternal greatest or somewhere in the conversation of 10. We throw that GOAT around stuff for everybody. A high school player has a good year. Yo, he's the GOAT. No, he's not. He's a good player. You defeat the acronym of throwing something like that out there, because it's supposed to mean something. Do you know how many average guys I'm going to leave that one alone. So at the end of the day, I like Angel Reese. God bless her. She's good. She has a lot of things to keep transcending on. That debate was great, and you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's only fair that we watch it. I understand it came out like months ago, but it's only fair that we listen and want to give our take on what went down between Maria Rose and H2O, because the contribution you made to basketball leads to publications like that.
Yeah.
Not many
Wavy
people
World
get the
too, make sure they
opportunity.
watching.
And don't worry, you better bring us up in Wavy's World, because obviously this is a topic you guys need to think about.
Well,
Think about it in a future episode. It doesn't have to be tomorrow. It could be in a future episode because
yeah, we might have to get some of those ladies on, and we might have to. We got a little bit of people that we probably can talk to for some WNBA connects. Maybe we can get some of the players to come on there and talk as well too. So we'll see about that as well.
Yeah, we'll see on that as well. And you know what? At least that's one. At least that's one. At the WNBA has one New York champion recently, and even if delivery somehow failed to get it done this year, they're the most recent champion that we had because in New York football stinks. Do you see how bad New York? Like, look, you know what?
Open that up.
I track and slow it down and see which team did the worst.
I
The
got a lot
Jets
of
choked up.
and baseball.
The Jets choked up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, or the Giants beat held to 6 points against the Washington Commanders. Which New York team did the worst?
Duh, it's the Giants, and my mother and father are from Jamaica, a beautiful place of Jamaica, one of many people. My mother knew my real father in Jamaica per se, but they didn't become a couple until Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So when my mother decided to make the exploration to eventually, try to get to New York, but she had family in Canada, so she went to Canada, into Toronto, reacclimates, meets my father. Boom, I come into the picture. Born in Toronto, and got to New York in 1987. United States of America, also in 1987. My mother got back with my stepfather because they were together in Jamaica. Yeah, whole story, and the rest is history. But when I moved to New York in 1987, the Giants won the Super Bowl in 1986. Remember, it was the 85 season, but however, the Super Bowl was played in the next year. So I got here when the Giants were just fresh off a Super Bowl. And then the Giants won again in 1990.
And that was not too long before I was born. I was fresh off. When the Giants were fresh off a championship that year as well. So that's a relation right there.
Right.
Low key.
So when I got here, I wasn't of course, as New York would support the Giants, they wanted, so I was happy to be around them. But when I started really watching football completely and understanding it, rather than just rooting for a team because you're in a location and they happen to win now, was in the 90s. And believe it or not, everybody could quote me with this, but I always tell the candid story because I never lie. It's about what you grow up seeing. When I first started watching the NFL, I was a Cowboys fan, and that's because when I started understanding it, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, Troy Aikman, Alvin Harper, Jay Novacek, Charles Haley, rest his soul, Ken Norton Jr., all the great things, Woodson, all the great players they had offensively and defensively. Jimmy Johnson, Barry Switzer later on. Yeah. After the Cowboys won those 3 Super Bowls in a 4-year span, their play started going down. Irvin had the big concussion. Emmitt Smith, was still playing well, but started going on. Troy Aikman got a lot of injuries too. The Cowboys team started changing, and they started getting bad. I didn't like what they were going on with. 1999 to 2000. I'm going to tell you why this is the year. That was the year I completely embedded to be a Giants fan. Not just, 40%. And I also did like the Colts for a little while because the Colts had Peyton Manning. Mm-hmm. And, I'm a Manning guy. But when I started 1999, I liked the Minnesota Vikings only because they had Randy Moss, Dante Culpepper, Chris Carter, Robert Smith was the running back. They had a prolific offense. They were scoring points. Okay? Never forget it. The Giants played the Vikings. And I was supporting New York because it was New York, but I thought the Vikings were going to win. The Vikings got trashed by our Giants. 41-7 at home. Blasted them. Okay? After that, I fell in love with the Giants. They went to the Super Bowl. We laid a complete egg against the Baltimore Ravens. I think we lost 41-7, something like that. Our only touchdown that game was a
kickoff return. I seen highlights
by
of that.
Ron Hickson. Yes, was Ron Hickson had a kickoff return. Kerry Collins was absolutely egregious. But 2 weeks ago in the NFC Championship game, he was like Johnny Unitas. So now that's the Giants evolution story. Once that happened, I was completely a Giants fan. And then when I went to college at Cheney University, and you got all these Eagles fans, and you got Steelers fans and Eagles fans, as much as they're doing winning now, God bless them, I'm not hating on them. Back in those days, they were some of the most obnoxious fans in the world that didn't win crap. They just won their first 2 Super Bowls now, okay? And Eagles fans have been obnoxious ever since they could be obnoxious. But God bless them. They're a city that they're very proud of their team. God bless them. 2001 year, when the Giants tried to get back to the postseason, to the Super Bowl, the Eagles were our kryptonite. And this is when the Donovan McNabb era started. Andy Reid and Deuce Staley, they beat us twice in the regular season. They sent us home. We didn't make the playoffs. The Eagles started being good every year. The Giants went on a decline. So now this is what, to me being said, I've been a Giants fan for so long. And me and you have been doing this sports show now together for a few years. And remember when we first started judging and doing football, we would talk basketball and all this stuff, and we started spreading it out. And they don't know. It went from nothing but the b-ball to nothing but that sports talk. We started talking everything. We've done everything on the show. We've done golf, tennis, hockey, basketball, women's thing, lacrosse, you name it. We've talked about it on this platform, right?
And I've covered events on this platform. You've seen the credentials. I got credentials 100%. Sitting right over there.
100%. But remember when you used to always talk to me about the Giants? I'm a Giants fan and the home team Jets, Giants fan. And I used to be like, oh, Ryan, man, you don't got no confidence in the Giants. Oh, Ryan, man, how you picking against
why you gotta go there?
Because it's true. And what I was trying to tell you was that, Rafique, I've been watching this team for a long time. I bought a lot of tickets. I got a lot of gear.
I've never been to a Giants game, but I do have like newspaper front covers of the Super Bowl wins in 2007 and 2011. I always hold on to those.
Listen.
I have that cat too.
So, this is the Barbados one. My Yankees cat is somewhere over there. But I've seen so much with this team. And I don't lie what my eyes tell me. Your roster going into camp and what you do and the coaches and philosophy has a lot to do with what's going to go on in the future. The reality of it is, after those 90s eras, when the Giants found a way in the 2000s to get it back competitive, they had a decline again. Thank God for Eli Manning. Eventually that's when the Giants got a consistent resolve of football. Now, let's be fair after that now. We won in the 2007 season, which the Super Bowl was played in 2008. We won in the 2011
with the Super Bowl played in 2012.
Season, the Super Bowl was played in 2011, right?
2011 where the Super Bowl's being played in 2012.
2012, excuse me. Right. We won those 2 Super Bowls in that time. Remember, it's 2025. After that time, we've been to the postseason twice. One with Eli Manning, with the Victor Cruz. With
Odell
Beckham Jr. and those younger guys there, where they decided to go to South Beach, Miami, 5 days before the game against Green Bay and got blasted in Green Bay, right? An organization we had beat 2 times before that. In the Super Bowl year, the first time we beat them with Brett Favre. In the second Super Bowl year, we beat them with Aaron Rodgers. Got blasted the next time. And then we qualified for the postseason 2 or 3 years ago with Daniel Jones, where everything went perfect that year between him, Saquon, and how we were running in defense. It was also the first year of Brian Daboll, so it was a breath of fresh air inside of the organization, right? Every since year after that, excluding those damn Super Bowls I just said, they've been anemic. They've been bad. They win 5 games every year, 4 games every year. They were 3-14 last year. What in the hell made you and everybody in America and Giants fans think that they were going to be better than 3-14, returning 90% of the same roster they had last year, and only bringing a couple things in with getting Russell Wilson, who's 700 years old? I like Russ. One year, $10 million. Do you think they were invested in him and believed in him? He's at the end.
I just had a debate with my guy that works in Canarsie right next door. I told him, listen, Russell Wilson is in a decline of his career. He's not the service bus. One reason why you smoked this an opener.
Jameis Winston got signed a contract there to be the second string. We're doing bad, and I'm hearing they have Jackson Dart. No disrespect to the kid. As the backup. So why did you get Jameis Winston? What is going on in the organization? I am very their decision-making over the last few years has been very bad. I don't know why they got rid of Jerry Reese a couple years ago, because I'm very concerned. There was somebody else that they had.
Saquon Barkley let him walk. They didn't want to give him that money. Saquon Barkley, they didn't want to give him that money. He goes to Philadelphia.
Ridiculous.
They win a Super Bowl
you give
there.
Daniel Jones it. Daniel Jones, you don't supply Daniel Jones with the proper things. He ends up being bad. He goes to the Colts first week, 295 yards, three passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns, because they're blocking for him, and he has opportunities to make plays, and he doesn't have the pressure of a New York market, so they believe in him, so things work. But no, this is what we do. We got neighbors. Oh, we got this receiver. Oh, we got this. Did you get the offensive line?
Nope.
Because if you don't have 5 guys blocking properly for the quarterback, it doesn't matter who you have.
If you don't block for the quarterback, how is he supposed to develop his running game as well as his passing game? Part of what made, and I had this debate with my guy next door. Part of what made Michael Vick a hell of a quarterback, because it's not because he's a good passing game. Not because he had good blockers, but he can run the football, and that's what Russell Wilson had in that Super Bowl, in those Super Bowl years. He could run the football. He had a block, and up until that dumb pass in the loss against the Patriots, Russell Wilson was carrying the Seattle Seahawks. He's not that guy anymore.
To an extent, but here goes the thing too. Like you said, the offensive line. The Seahawks had good teams. It wasn't just the offensive line. The Seahawks, when they were winning those titles, the Seahawks have defensive teams that are going to go down as some of the greatest defensive teams to ever play football.
Don't forget Richard Sherman, the same Richard Sherman that silenced the media with his defensive play.
Well, you're talking about one player, and I just told you the Seattle Seahawks defense, entire defense.
Okay, yeah, he's part of defense.
Their linebacker, their strong safety was dynamite. They were good across the board. They had a defense. They had an offensive line that was blocking. They had a quarterback in his prime, right? That can not only run, but he could pass the football very well too. He won MVP. They had receivers. They had a phenomenal coach in Pete Carroll. They had a phenomenal staff. They were good across the board. Russell is at the end of his career now. So in order for you to have him think he be a Band-Aid, you need to supply everything around him. I'm tired of hearing Andre Thomas. I'm tired of hearing he's going to be ready. It's always something with him. Hurt, mental problems. He can't deal with this. But we're paying him. You're getting paid. It's always something with you. We're waiting for Andre Thomas to come back so we can be great at the offensive line. Really? The left tackle's going to block all other 5 positions too? The left tackle guards the blind side of the quarterback. If he does his job and the right guard does not do his job and the left guard does not do his job and the center does not do his job and the right tackle does not do his job, who cares how good the left tackle is?
Don't you think the Giants were worried that when they drafted this guy, Abdul Carter? But then again, what is he going to do?
They have good guys on defense. They have good players at certain positions. But until they shore up the offensive line and until they develop better schematic plans about winning the game, what was the plan for Washington? You go into the game against the Commanders. You're playing the team that was 1 game away from the Super Bowl with a first-year quarterback who is a stud, right? So you're playing a very very difficult team. There are a lot of people's radars that have Washington going to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the team that you're playing at the beginning of the year. You know your schedule, and I told you. Do you know? I tell you, man, the Lord and the NFL gods don't like the Giants. Because how are we 3-14 last year and have the hardest schedule in football? Do you know that's the truth?
Mm-hmm.
The Giants have the hardest schedule in football. We were 3-14. Wow. That's crazy. So we get Washington at first, division rival. If you lose a division game, that's like losing 2. You have Dallas first. They will lose to Dallas. They have not beat that. They beat Dallas maybe once in the last
7 to 8 tries.
And then you have the Kansas City Chiefs on national TV as your home opener. Good luck. And if they go 0-2, they're going to be pissed off when they play us. Okay? So I thought it was comical. The people that are my Giants people, that's all they're going to be good where? And it's only one game. So I don't want them to win 4 in a row and they say, yo, Ryan, listen, because if they do great, of course, I'm going to be the first one to be happy for them. But my eye test tells me that roster is not going to do it. I don't know how long Russell Wilson
exactly. The passing game is just the passing game looked out of sync. Even with the capability to get the ball down the field, their passing game was just so out of sync.
Disgusting. And I don't want them to put Jackson Dart in too early. I want him to develop when it's right. From what I'm hearing, if they can hold it down to the best of their ability, they want Jackson to play around that New Orleans Saints game, which I think is later in the season. That'd be the good time. But with the way the schedule is, we would be doing wrong to throw him out there against Dallas this week, against Kansas City on national TV. That's disrespectful. I don't expect the Giants to be good. I told you in the year, I said 5 to 7 wins. 7 is a lot. Seriously, 7 is a lot. So I want you to play all these ad-libs about it. This is a real Giants fan telling you. I'm still going to be a Giants fan next year and for eternity. I'm not going to leave. I'm loyal. But I don't like what I see. The eye test has not told me that. They've been a bad team pretty consistently for the last 10 to 12 years. I can't tell you that excluding the Daniel Jones year the other year and that other year with Eli going where they won 11 games, and I think Odell Beckham probably won 9 by himself. That we've won under 6 games every single year. Every single year, 6 and something, 5 and something, 4 and something, 3 and something. Giants Nation, don't fool ourselves. You know what? We probably should make it all mess up so they can fire all the coaches and start again. It's not working. We're the worst team in New York right now, eye test wise. The Jets look very good. They have to shore up defensively because 41 points is not going to make you win in the NFL. But offensively, at least they look gifted.
They definitely look gifted. I mean, Justin feels like he can carry a team.
I always told people he's good. He needs to be in the right situation. When he throws the ball and he's accurate on top of his athleticism with running, he can be very good. He has a target with Sauce Gardner. I never say this completely unless it's clear cut because I always say certain years when people are like, oh, the Jets are so much better than the Giants. I'm like, no, they're just around the same. They're average. You're just looking at certain things. But the Jets are better than the Giants. Without a doubt, there's no comparison. And until they get their stuff together, every week I'll watch the Giants, but it's a shame and it's disappointing and it's sad. And they need to do better for the fan base. They need to do better for the people spending all their tickets. They need to do better because they're loyal, great Giants fans. And that was embarrassing last week. That was the from every team that played, the Giants played the most embarrassing, worst football of week 1.
Yeah,
period.
That's the third season opener in a row. The Giants failed to score a touchdown. That's
disgusting.
Embarrassing.
Same thing, same pattern. No matter who you put in there, you can't get a first down. You're down on the 4. You're down 1st and 10, 1st and goal on the goal line. 4 times you can't get in. It happened again. You're down there. You got a penalty on one of them. They retracted you the first down, and you still can't put a touchdown in the end zone. You're running trick plays to the left tackle. Are you kidding me?
Listen, I played this video game called Madden, and when I'm using the running back, if I don't have decent wide receiver I could throw the ball down low to that's going to make crazy plays, I would just run it through them when the offensive line gives me space to run through. That's what I would do. Russell Wilson should have done that.
You got to block, and they don't even do that right. So God bless them. I hope they turn it around because I'm very passionate about it, and I do love the Giants. But, I mean, why lie to ourselves? That was egregious what they did the first week. And then before we even go into picks and pivot, I need another 2-3 minutes, and then I need you to tag my guy in this. Not necessarily the Crash Brother, but my other guy, Augustine. I'll send you his information. I want you to tag this part so he can have it. You know, I watched a lot of people with this lovely Yankees-Mets thing. You know, when Juan Soto went to the Mets, and, you know, he still has 14 more years of his career in this season to do stuff as well, too. So who am I to be a prisoner of the moment? But everybody thought it was completely over for the Yankees and a bunch of stuff. And we haven't done anything great neither, so I'm not going to act like both New York baseball teams have been just a little bit above average this year. So none of them are leaps and bounds. We're a little bit better than the Mets, but it's not by leaps and bounds. Okay? So with that being said, I had to send a message to one of my trolling Mets guys because when the Yankees played the Mets the first time around, we won in the series. We played 6 times this year. The Yankees beat them 2 out of 3. Never said nothing to him. Text him like 3 weeks later. I said, you see, this is what it is to be a winner, to win and not say nothing. When you play baseball and you play 162 games, I don't have to call you after every game. There's 162. But never said nothing to the man. 3 weeks later, Mets play Yankees in Citi Field. Mets take 2 out of 3, right? We won the last game, but Mets take 2 out of 3. I get a text from the man. Oh, excuse me? Who you calling? You calling me? And what I tell my peoples, if you're going to argue sports with me, be consistent. When you win, call. When you lose, call too. You know what I'm saying? Be consistent. Then I can respect your dialogue. Because there's Cowboy fans that I talk to that I don't like the Cowboys, but because they have a good perspective on sports, we have great conversations. There are Mets fans that I have that are my friends too, that are even keel with stuff. So we have great regular baseball conversations. But for these ignorant, pompous, losing, little brother, non-logical Mets fans, it's absolutely ridiculous. A few years ago, the Mets had a high payroll and didn't qualify for the postseason. And I'm going to say it again. The Mets have the highest payroll in baseball. And for years, I took things from Mets fans and other people. Oh, the Yankees spend so much money. You don't win. Oh, the Yankees spend so much money. What are y'all doing? You have the highest payroll in baseball. You have the highest paid player in baseball, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you did all of that, and you have Juan Soto, who is a generational hitter and a little bit of generational talent. I don't know how much that's working now, and a way below average defender, like I told them. In 5 years, he'll be a DH. So now you have a billionaire owner, highest payroll, highest paid player, and you are in 7th place right now in the MLB postseason. You are outside of the postseason. There are 6 teams that have better records than you, and division-wise, that they're going to go to the postseason. And the Mets are tilting. They're tilting down a razor blade into an alcohol river. Did you hear that? They're tilting down a razor blade into an alcohol river. And
so we're just going to ignore the fact that 2 out of 6 teams that are ahead of the Mets are the same 2 teams that we defeated the postseason last year. We're just going to ignore that.
Ignore what?
We're just going to ignore the fact that the Phillies and the Brewers, who are the top 2 in the National League, are the same 2 teams that we defeated the postseason last year when we came into the wild card.
Well, that's you see, that's why I like you, because that's only 60% right. Because the name is the same team, but let's get this straight right here, Mr. Rafique. The Phillies team they played last year was decimated with injuries. I'll wait.
That's understandable.
Right. The Brewers team they did play last year, they beat that Brewers team. And I give them that. They played well. Remember, Devin Williams is now with the Yankees, and he was giving us fits until we figured out how to put him in the 8th inning because clearly his confidence is gone. And they lost one of the two other players. What they did was they shored up everything else and they got good. And I don't believe completely in the Brewers too because they got to show me the money in the postseason. But I do know this: the Brewers team that they played last year is not the same one this year. This Brewers team is better. So that's the big change. So yes, okay, I'm not gonna forget about it. Yeah, you're right, Rafique. They beat the Phillies and the Brewers. Ooh. But if they don't go to the postseason, it don't matter who they beat last year. If the season ends today, Rafique, the Mets are not in the postseason.
I mean, they're still in the postseason. They're two games ahead of the San Francisco Giants, who are stupid hot, and then of course behind them is the Cincinnati Reds. At least they took 2 out of 3 against the Cincinnati Reds, so that helps a lot. But they got wrecked by the Philadelphia Phillies.
All right, Rafique, when you get a chance, while you're there, how many teams make the MLB playoffs?
14 in total. 7 each.
14 total.
Each conference.
So it's 7 from each conference?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they're the last seed right now. They're the last
seed.
Right? So, all right, let me see if I'm getting this somewhere right. The Phillies lead the National League East, correct?
Yeah, they do lead the National League East. Oh, yeah. Oh, what do you know? The San Francisco Giants are getting wrecked 5-0 by the Arizona Diamondbacks. So, yeah. Hold on, Mets fans. We still have the last spot in the wild card.
Brewers number 1 seed, Phillies, Dodgers, right? Then after that, the San Diego Padres have the best wild card record, I think, after that.
Yeah, actually, the top 3 teams of the wild card: the Cubs, Padres, and the Mets.
And the Mets are in the last spot.
Mm-hmm.
They better hold on to it tight. They better be careful who behind them because they're not playing well enough to get there. They have a lot of, I just wish them the best. But if they don't make the postseason with having all of that in their payroll, I want to know what the conversation is. Because if the Yankees had the highest payroll and didn't make the postseason, do you know what the conversations would be?
The conversation would be how you have done all that and you still can't win the World Series.
I ain't got nothing to say for the Mets no more, man. I wish them the best of luck, but these are the conversations that I bring up because,
and the
like
funny
I
thing,
said, now to be
fair, though, the season ended today, and the Mets were to get in, they would face the Los Angeles Dodgers in the NL wild card, and all three games will be in Los Angeles. We would go into the Dodgers, and they're the World Series champions.
And they would go home. And the Dodgers are not even like how they were last year. But the Dodgers are another one. They're not worried about 162. They're going to wake that ass up at 163 when the postseason comes. They won the championship. They just want to get to the regular season. I just can't wait for it to all end. But I know this much. The Yankees are in a better playoff position and in a better position than the Mets are. And we lost Juan Soto. And we don't have Garrett Cole, who's out for Tommy John surgery. And the Devin Williams, the guy we paid for as a closer, ended up being a flop. So we had to put him in the 8th inning. And we're still persevering. And we still never make any excuses. Trent Grisham is putting up damn near close to the same numbers as Soto. Cody Bellinger, God bless him. But both teams still should have both played better this year. There's still baseball left. Hopefully, I'll motivate the Mets so they wake the hell up so they could tell me I was a piece of crap in a few weeks and I woke them up. But they've been playing egregious. And if they keep this up, they'll back end into the playoffs or not make the playoffs. And then I want to know, what is the conversation then?
Okay, I get it. I mean, either they'll back in or they could surpass the Padres and they have a 3-game set with the Padres at one point before the final.
They'll go home. The Padres own them. You know that. I know that.
They can surpass them for the second wild card spot and face the Chicago Cubs on the road.
God bless. Good luck. UPS is hiring.
Well,
I had to get that off because I'm tired of they talk so much when they've been so quiet this year. Like I said, we've had bad times too, but they've been so quiet.
This is exactly why I get the sound treatment sometimes because I really have nothing to say.
And I'm not like them. You see, I'm a Giants fan, right? What I told you, the Giants stink. The Giants stink. Mets stink. They go into a hole. They don't tell you that. Oh, we had injuries. Oh, we had this. Oh, we had that. Oh, we had that. So did everybody else.
Yeah, no comments. Anyway, transition back to NFL. Let's get to our picks. Commanders versus Packers. Who you have winning that one?
Green Bay's at home?
Yeah, Lambeau Field.
Well, I really like Daniels and them. Green Bay. Very close game, though. Those are very good teams.
Yeah. Cincinnati Bengals at home against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going with Bengals. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, Cincinnati didn't look great last week neither, so they better be very careful. Yeah. But for the spread, you know what? I'm going to pick Jacksonville on that one, just to be different. Ooh. And Jacksonville stinks. So I shouldn't even be picking them. But Cincinnati didn't look great. Is Cincinnati home?
Yeah, they're home.
And they won last week at home, right? Or did they play in Cleveland?
They played in Cleveland. They just barely won that one.
Who's Jacksonville quarterback? Is still Trevor Lawrence, right?
Yeah, still Trevor Lawrence.
How did they do last week?
Yeah, they got wrecked last week.
Who they play?
Who they play? They played against the Carolina. They played against the Carolina. Well, actually, they did beat the Carolina Panthers. Let me stop. Let me correct myself. They did beat the Carolina Panthers 26-10. And Trevor Lawrence had 178.
I'm going with Jaguars. I'm riding with Jaguars. Even on the road, I'm riding with them.
Mm-hmm. Giants on the road against the Cowboys. We already over it. We went over this already. Cowboys winning. Cowboys winning. We already went over this. Detroit Lions at home against the Chicago Bears. Detroit will bounce back from the loss in Green Bay and take this one without question.
I don't like any of those teams. I don't like what Detroit did last week. They lost a lot. I could see they have a new offensive coordinator. Caleb played pretty good. I like what the Bears did. Bears didn't win. But, all right, I'll go Detroit. Detroit better be careful. They didn't play good football last week.
Yeah. Tennessee Titans at home against Los Angeles Rams. I'm probably going to take the game and pick the Rams.
Yeah, I'll go Rams. Stafford.
Dolphins at home at Hard Rock Stadium against the New England Patriots. I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins.
I'm going Patriots. I didn't like anything I seen from the Dolphins. Nothing.
Yeah, they got cooked by Daniel Jones.
I'm starting to lose confidence in Tua.
Yeah. New Orleans Saints at home against San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to pick the 49ers to win. They look ugly against the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, I'll go San Fran. Tough one, though, on the low, believe it or not.
Okay, New York Jets at home against the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to take a big game. I know I did say the Bills are going to win that one, but I'm going to take a gamble and go with the Jets anyway. Even though they did lose, I like how they looked with Justin Fields running the void. So I'm going to go with the New York Jets.
Jets go 0-2. I wish they didn't have that matchup. I really did.
Yeah, Buffalo barely came back and beat Baltimore.
Yeah, but they also scored 40-plus points, which I know the Jets can do as well, too.
Mm-hmm.
Here goes the two things with that matchup last week. Buffalo, for some reason, has owned Baltimore over the last 2-3 years. Baltimore's style of play always lets teams open up into the game, hence why they were able to come back. I think that was a big confidence win for Buffalo, even though, Buffalo's the best team in the AFC East anyway, even regardless of what happened last week for both teams. They're not too far. The Jets are going to play very good, and the Jets traditionally always play very good against Buffalo and do them and beat them. I just think that This time will be a little bit too much. They had a very disappointing loss. And here goes the thing. The Jets need to shore up what they're going on defense. Because if they gave up 41 points to Pittsburgh and they had a key fumble and turnover, they cannot do that against the Buffalo Bills. I promise you this right now. They cannot turn the ball over at a high rate, and that defense has to get stops. Because if they go into a shootout with Buffalo, they're going to have the same form of a game that they had against Pittsburgh, which is going to be a shootout, but Buffalo has more bullets in that gun than the Jets do. And if the game's close at the end, I like Justin Fields, but you could take Justin Fields all you want. I'm going with the MVP.
That's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer. Yeah, Pittsburgh Steelers, they big win against your Jets last week. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to build off of that and defeat the Seattle Seahawks. I just have that feeling. Yeah, Pittsburgh wins this one.
Yeah, I like Pittsburgh's home too. They come home, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like Pittsburgh.
Baltimore Ravens and home against the Cleveland Browns, no-brainer. Lamar Jackson's going to show off against the Browns.
Yeah, he's going to be pretty upset. They're going to kill the Browns. They're going to kill them.
Colts and home against the Denver Broncos, that's a no-brainer either. I'm going to go with the Colts.
You're dumb. Broncos.
Wow. Even after what they did. Oh, wow. Even after what Dale Jones did for them. I mean, Bo Nix looks pretty promising. I'm going to be fair. Bo Nix is pretty talented.
Who the Colts played again?
The Miami Dolphins.
Oh, come on. Stop it. That's a high school team. We just talked about that. They looked horrific. And he goes, listen, the Colts are doing well. It's not a hating thing. Who you said? Oh, we got again. You said the Denver Broncos are a very good team. They, if I'm not mistaken, did they not qualify for the postseason last year?
I don't think so.
They won a lot of games though. Bo Nix had a very good year last year.
Yeah, they were pretty good.
Well, we'll see once we get out there, see if they qualify for postseason. But Bo Nix played very well. I think he's a very proven quarterback in the league. And here's what you're forgetting about this: the Denver Broncos defense is nasty. When I tell you, hold on. When I tell you that defense is nasty, you should go after this. We done with this. Just go check those defensive stats last year for the Denver Broncos. They are nasty.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did make the postseason, but they got wrecked by the Buffalo Bills on the road. So, that's not surprising.
Yeah, I wasn't crazy. Bo Nix in his rookie year led his team to the postseason because they got an O-line, a running back. He's better than what the world thought. Bo Nix is solid, and that defense is nasty. Nasty. The Colts will not be throwing the football all over the place like they did last week against Miami. I promise you that. The Broncos will win. That's my guaranteed pick. Remember this pick. The Broncos will beat the Colts this week.
That's fine. Arizona Cardinals and home against the Carolina Panthers. I'm gonna go with Arizona on this one. They look good last week, but
I'm going Arizona too. Oh, Kyler. Ooh, Kyler.
Yeah. Then we get the Super Bowl rematch. Philadelphia Eagles on the road against the Kansas City Chiefs. Nope, I'm gonna pick Kansas City to bounce back from that loss. They're gonna look hungry after getting steamrolled in the Super Bowl last year. They're gonna be hungry, without question.
This is a very tough game for me to pick.
I mean, I could go with the Philadelphia Eagles to win, but I can't imagine a world where Patrick Mahomes starts off 0-2 going into the week 3 matchup against the New York Giants. I can't imagine that.
I want to pick Philadelphia for this. I really do so bad. Because right now, my eye test, I think they're better than Kansas City, especially after the Super Bowl victory. Different teams, different years to get it. But Philly didn't look knock down, drag out completely great last week neither. The Cowboys, people hear me to say this as a Giants fan. The people thought the Cowboys were going to be worse than what they were, if that's even a word. But they played a lot better than what people thought for last week. The Cowboys played very well. They could have easily won that football game as well too. So Kansas City didn't impress me. And I know it's Mahomes and them. You know how I feel about Mahomes, so you know it's never usually. But I'm a little doubtful. I'm gonna go. I want to really say a tie, but I know on national TV that's not gonna be a tie. Um, I'm gonna go with the Eagles because Kansas City is gonna go into, and then they're gonna be pissed off and kick the Giants' ass the next week.
Yeah. I ain't got no argument on that one. Minnesota Vikings at home against the Atlanta Falcons. I'm going with the Vikings. They're going to come out strong.
Yeah, I like the Vikings on that one too. Their defense. So I was telling my guy with that Minnesota game, Chicago game, I said, it's not the fact that their quarterback hasn't played in 2 years, but it's the fact that Minnesota's defense is just treacherous. So, but I did like Penix. I do like that left-handed quarterback from Atlanta. He showed me some things, but I'll go with the conventional pick as well.
Tampa Bay Bucks on the road against the Houston Texans.
Texans.
Las Vegas Raiders at home against Los Angeles Chargers.
And CJ Stroud is playing, right? For Texans?
Yeah,
Texans. And you said Los Angeles.
The Chargers on the road against Las Vegas Raiders. I'm going to go with the Chargers.
Chargers.
Yeah. All right. This is going to be a very interesting week in the NFL coming up. And now we'll wrap up this episode. Nothing but that sports talk. Thank you for stopping by once again. I love what you do for Guard Nation. I love what you do for your podcast. We walk around, listen to a little bit of it. We've had that young lady that was a former News 12 Bronx reporter. She shows some great intellect too.
Natalia Perez, Queen Nat. Yeah, we've had a lot of them on there. Anybody get a chance, go take a look, man. Go on YouTube. You can subscribe. You can go on YouTube and just type it in, Wavy World. We've done a lot of good episodes with H2O and Thomas. We had Leaky Roof on there. That one is up right now. That's a big one. Natalia Perez, shout out to Queen Nat with Crash the Industry and what she does. Please make sure we lock into that and see what she's got going on for music. We're going to have her do stuff with us too as well, too, so God bless her. My man Zoe is on there. His show will be coming out very soon. He does his own podcast, but we did the podcast with him at Wavy World, so everybody will check that out. My man Slim, the announcer, White, God bless them. Slim, my partner with Balling for Peace and a lot of other things, and White, my guy. You know, that's the Peace Tournament Canada crew. And make sure we lock in my man White, Maybach the President on Instagram. His album's out, 10,000 Hours, him and Blue. They got a really, really dope project. So it was great to do the work with them. So we got a few shows coming out. We got 3 shows we're going to do next Tuesday as well, too. We record every other Tuesday, and we try to put 3 or 4 of them in. I told you, I ain't going to say it on air, what I had going brewing for the next show, but I got to pivot because 1 or 2 of the guys for that is not going to be around. But we have some other people coming on. I'm going to figure out when their date is good for them. You know what I'm saying? I know they got to take a little break, so I'm going to just send them the next dates I have for September and October, and see which is applicable for them. If I get them on there, then good. If not, then we're gonna pivot. We have a lot of other people we could put on the show as well too, and do with the show. So but yeah, Wavy World on YouTube. Really appreciate everybody who's tapping in. It's a really good sports and cultural show. We talk about everything, music, everything, everything. Feek, you'll be down there soon. So Wavy World, we did God Nation, great tournament in Harlem. Shout out to my guy Mike Walker. He had a great time doing media there. He loved it. He can't wait to come back. It was really, really good because my guys had the top high school. You know, Cha-Ching had his team, won 6 straight. Damn near Northeast Basketball Club was there with a high school team. Debo had a team there. Everybody, it was really good players and really good environment. So that was great to be a part of it. We'll finish Broadway Park either this weekend or next weekend because the Final Four chip is up. And that's it, man. God Nation was good. Shout out to my man Chino and Ghoul for God Nation for always having me out there to do the thing. Harlem Rel, my man Rel, we did very well at doing it together first time, and everything worked so great. So it was good, and if God give us life, we'll be back there again next year to do God Nation again. But it's Wavy's World, man. Tune into the podcast. We locked in, and it's nothing but the sports talk.
Yeah, and don't forget, I'm also shows at WSU Radio. You can listen to that.
Tell them.
It's $8. You could actually, yeah, we're definitely going to play time for you to come in as well. And going forward, at one point, it's coming this fall. We gonna be doing some shows there too. So we got my appearance on that station. By the way, you can listen to it iHeartRadio. I'm gonna send you the links this way. You can be locked in and notify people when you come on. So this way, yeah.
Yeah, let's lock in. I can't wait, man. That's gonna be so great. We have so much more time in the fall. Not so much time because you got school, we got other things, but it's more easier to get what we got to get done because boy, it was a heck of a busy summer.
Yeah, it was a busy summer indeed. All right, for Ryan Walker, Rafique Louison. We'll see you next time.
This is right.
With that sports stuff. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and subscribe to Wavy World. Have a good night.